Everybody, I'm Parney from Fun Art, and today we're going to be painting.
I haven't started this one quite yet. I had to start this one after.
Hi everybody, I'm Parney from Fun Art, and today we're going to be painting this night scene. So I hope you'll join me. We're going to be using blue paint, white, purple, and black. And we're just doing it on a 11 by 14 canvas. This is a stretch canvas. We have a cup of water, and the other things we're going to need today, a piece of chalk. I have a sponge. It's not necessary, but it's something that we are going to use, and if you bought a kit from me, it'll be in the kit, and just a liner brush as well. So let's get started. First thing we need to do is we need to dip our brush into the water and then pat it out on our blotter. Just make sure that there isn't any water dripping down the shank of the paintbrush. Otherwise it can make your paint run all over. So you don't want to do that. And then we're going to load it up. And today we're going to load it with blue first. And we're just going to apply the paint across the canvas. It's going to take 2 coats. So the first coat is really called a base coat. So we want to make sure that we get the edges, so that's your top and the sides, and it's really best to do it as you go along. Just because when you change your paint colors, sometimes it's hard to match the sides if you haven't done it at the same time, so I like to do it all at once. Now I'm not going to wash my brush, I'm not going to put it back in the water, I'm going to put it into the purple paint next, and I'm going to pick up some purple paint and I'm going to add it on top of the blue. And I'm just blending it out. So blending it just means that I'm brushing it back and forth. And as you can see, it's a bit translucent, so you can see through it at this point. And that just means that we're going to definitely need to do a second coat. So again, I'm not going to wash my brush, but I'm going to go back into the blue this time. And the pattern really kind of goes back and forth. And I am making a bit of a smile. As you can see, this is a night sky, so we want it to be painted quite well so that it has a bit of depth to it. There we go. All right, so again, I don't wash my brush and I put it back in the purple paint. I pick up some purple paint and make that smile pattern again. And I'm blending it, rubbing it back and forth so it blends in with the blue that's just above it. And we're going to do this all the way down the canvas. Okay, and now we'll switch back to the blue. You can buy kits here at Fun Art. And Fun Art is located in Brockville, Ontario. We're right here in the Thousand Islands. Brockville is a beautiful historic city. All right, and then we're back into the purple paint. Now when we get near the bottom of the canvas, if you find that it's hard to reach, all you have to do is flip your canvas over like so. Just going to go back in and touch up my sides. Now I'm doing a frown because now I'm upside down. Okay, and then we'll pick up some more blue. And we don't need to do the very bottom because the very bottom is actually black. This is a silhouetted painting. So the silhouette makes trees in black. Okay, so we'll leave that little bottom stretch. Okay, check my sides. and we're good to go. So the next thing you're gonna do is take your blow dryer, and what you wanna do is turn it on, and you wanna keep it moving the whole time. Don't put it at one spot and keep it, because it will bubble your paint. Sam? I don't think it's on. Okay, everybody. So, Sam's my camera guy. You'll see him pop in and out. I'm just going to turn it back over, and it needs to be dry to the touch. So, you just run your hand over it, make sure that no paint comes off on it, then that's dry to the touch. And then what we're going to do is actually do a second coat. We're going to do exactly what we did the first time. We're going to start with the blue, and we're going to put the blue on. And I really am, I'm just putting it on nice and smooth. And this time, I can be as creative as I want to. I've already got my base coat done. So now I can add purple in. Maybe I don't want it in every spot that I had before. Maybe I'd like to mix it up. Let's put some blue here. Okay. I'm still there we go. Oh, let's turn it this way. And we'll do those smiles. I prefer smiles. It's easier on my hand. So here it is, purple, switching back and forth. And blending it in. So I'm going to pick up some blue, and I'm just going to blend it right into that purple. I'm not afraid that they're mixing together, that's okay. But what I want to be conscious of is that I do have the different colors of the sky happening. So some spots are lighter, some spots are darker. Now you also have a bit of black paint, and if you wanted, you could pick a bit of that up with your blue. And that kind of gives you some even darker tones. And then we're going to switch back to some purple. Again, I'm not washing my brush in between. I'm really just blending it right on the canvas. I am doing my sides as I go along. And blending just means working it together. Now we'll pick up a bit more blue. Okay, blend it together, pick up some purple. And now we're getting down near the bottom, so I am going to switch, turn it over, just to make it easier for my hand. There's no wrong at fun art. You can't do it wrong. You'll only ever do it different. And that's great. So I encourage you to be creative with this. Add the color where you feel that you'd like it to be. It doesn't have to be exactly the same as this. This is just a guideline, an idea. Okay, and again, I'm just blending that together. How's it looking, Sam?
It's looking really good.
Okay. Perfect. All right, now before I blow it dry this time, I do want to check all of my edges. Make sure I have no globs or blobs. And just smooth it out. There we go. All right, well that looks pretty good. And we're going to use a blow dryer again and blow it dry until it's dry to the touch. Okay, great, we'll have it all blown dry. Now, next thing we're gonna do is wash out our brush really good. And so swish it around in the water, kind of press it in, because we don't really want to have any paint left on it. If you have another brush, you could use it just as well. And then we're going to pat it out on our paper towel and really dry it out well. Okay, this is the absolute best part of this painting. What you're going to do is you're going to take your dried brush, put it in the white paint. Okay. You're going to grab onto the brush and on the shank put your thumb. All right, I don't know if you can see that. And then with your finger, your pointer finger, so my thumb and my pointer finger, I'm going to pull back and flick paint at the canvas. What I'm doing is flicking stars. There we go. Now, if you get a star that's just too big, it's just too much, don't worry about it so much. So let's say it's this one here. Wet your small brush and just run it across. Pick up that star. Okay. And then we'll just take a little bit of purple and a little bit of blue and put it right back in there. So easy fix, not a problem. It's only paint. You can always just paint over it, so don't even worry about it. So here we have some stars on. Now we can't do anything more with the stars at the moment because they need to be blown dry. So let's blow it dry. Okay, so we've taken the blow dryer to it. It should be pretty dry. I'm not actually going to touch it this time, just in case. So the next thing that we're going to do is decide where are these trees going to go and where do I want my land to be. So because it is a silhouette, we're going to use a piece of chalk. Now chalk is great because you put it on. If you don't like it, just wet your brush and it will wash right off. So I'm going to make my land kind of bumpy down here, so you can see that. And I'm going to add a nice tall tree right about here. So I'm going to put the trunk. And we know that a tree, the branches are definitely smaller at the top and they get larger as you go down. So I'm just going to pencil them in here with this chalk, just to give myself an idea. It's a rough guideline. And if I don't like it in the end, I'm not going to worry about it. All I'm going to do is wet my brush and wipe away the chalk line. Super easy. So you can't do it wrong. You'll only do it different. Okay, so there's one tree. I think that in the background here, I'm going to put a few little trees. And over here, I'm going to do another tree. Now I'm doing branches that are going down, but you could do branches that go up or straight across, either or. I just happen to like this particular style. So next step is to take your liner brush, that's a small one, and you're going to rinse it off, pat it out on the paper towel, make sure that there's no water running down it, and you're going to put it in the black paint. Swirl it around a few times, and then we're going to start at the top and work our way down. So we want to brush in some really feathery kinds of branches. And you'll have to reload your brush frequently for this. And what I mean by that is you'll have to put more paint on it frequently because you'll use a fair bit coming down the tree. There we go. And I'm just going to take my trunk down. Now the trunk is a little bit thicker at the bottom than at the top, so we'll make it a little bit wider down here. And we just brush those in. Now you can add more. It's up to you, whatever you think looks great. And in nature, the tree is not necessarily perfectly straight, so you don't need to worry about it being perfect. Now maybe this one, I'll add even more branches. And instead of a jack pine, this one can be a white pine. There we go. Cute little pair of trees. I'm going right over the chalk. I'm not even worried about it. And if there are any chalk lines that are left in the end, once it's dry, I can just take a wet, clean brush and they will disappear. There we go. And we'll add this tree over here. Happy little trees. We've heard that before, haven't we? It's a Bob Ross thing.
We have.
And again, I'm just doing downstrokes with this little liner brush. There are many different brushes you could use for this. I just happen to like this one because you can get a fair bit of control on it. Some people are more partial to a fan brush, which is a great tool, but for technique-wise, it takes a bit of practice. All right, so now we have trees on it. We have stars, but our earth isn't in. So I'm going to wash out the big brush, pat it out on my blotter, and I'm going to load it with black paint. And I'm just going to lift this up so you can see it. And I'm actually going to paint the whole bottom here in the silhouette. Don't forget your bottom edge and your sides. No blobs, no blobs, just smooth it out. Now at this time, if I want to take my little liner brush and I want to add some grasses in, I can just pull up some grass from the bottom. Don't have to, but there we go. And then we're just gonna blow it dry. Okay, so now it's blown dry. So again, you can just wipe off your brush, and if it's clean, and you can go back in with a clean brush and just wipe away any of these chalk marks that are left. And you'll see that they just disappear. Chalk is a great tool to use. There we go. All right, so let's look at the painting above. So in this painting up here, we've got some trees, we have stars, and we have the earth. So we've got some trees, we've got the stars and the earth in this painting. But what we're missing is the moon. So I'm going to use the sponge brush. So it's really just a circular sponge. And I'm not going to wet it. I'm going to set it in the white paint and give it a twist. Then I'm just going to twist it out on my palette a couple times. Just like that. And all I want to do is I want to make sure that I take off the extra paint because I don't really want globs and blobs on it. So then I have to decide, okay, well, where is this moon going to go? So it could be anywhere that you think that you'd want it to be. So when I look at this painting, I kind of have an empty spot right here. So I'm thinking that might be a good spot for the moon. So I set it down and I spin and I lift it up. That's it. That's all there is to making a moon. Now, if I wanted to do this kind of star up here, I'm going to take my little liner brush. I'm just going to wash it out really good. I'm going to dry it off on my blotter. And I'm going to actually go back in the water, pick up just a little bit of water. I want to make my white paint thinner so that it'll move. So I just need a little extra water on the bristles only, not on the shank of the brush. And then I'm going to twirl it in the white paint. And to make the star, I may look at my painting and go, is there somewhere that kind of has a blob that I need to fix? And I have a blob right here, this little one. So I'm going to make a line straight down and a line across and then a line through each of those. And I want this first line to be very long. If anything happens that you don't like, wash your brush off and just with clean water, just blend back any line that's not quite working for you. And then in the center of this, take the other end of the brush, put it in the white paint. Okay, so it's the other end of the brush, not the bristles, the other end. And set that dot right in the very center. And there you have it, a little North Star. So I hope you've all enjoyed this painting tonight of the night sky, doing a silhouette with trees. And I hope you follow me on Facebook. Have a great day, everybody.